Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So it takes 10,000 hours to get really good at something, and this month marks 10,000 hours of intermittent fasting for me. Most scientists believe that you get into the benefits of intermittent fasting after 8 hours. Most days I do 16, so that's 8 hours worth of keto every day for me. But some days I do even more. Lately I've been forgetting to eat altogether because I've gotten so good at it, and so we'll just mark it down as 10,000 hours so far. And I thought I would make a video to talk about lessons I've learned over the last 3 years. In 2019 I was grappling with binge eating problems, which is what prompted me to quote-unquote normalize my relationship with food. That's the resolution I made in 2020. Now, one thing I would strongly suggest anybody who's dealing with binge eating problems or want to do intermittent fasting, or anybody who just wants to eat better, is I want you to answer two questions. A, what is food? And B, what is hunger? Now, before I go on to the answers, I want you to pause the video and think about those two questions. Okay, now on to the answer. Now, what is food? Now, think back at the last meal you ate. Maybe it was just a few moments ago. Maybe it was 24 hours ago. But think back on it and ask yourself fundamentally, why did I eat? If the answer is anything other than I was hungry or there was nutrition that I needed from it, we got a little bit of a problem. If you're eating out of boredom, stress, to have company in your life, or if you're eating out of social pressures, you need to find other ways to address those situations, because eating does not solve any of that, right? So I recommend to have some activity that you can go to every time you're bored that has nothing to do with food. I don't think I need to explain in this video what the activity has been for me as of late. Actually, this is a perfect activity for another reason I'll get to in a moment. Now, there are two things that you should make sure about this activity. First of all, try to choose an activity that doesn't involve another person, right? If your activity of choice is going to be with your significant other, things could go really haywire if that doesn't go well. Let's put it that way. And second, try to choose something that is totally incompatible with eating. So for example, I love writing computer games. I love photography. Unfortunately, it's too easy to eat while doing those things, right? I'm going out to Vantage, Washington to go view the lunar eclipse. Oh my God, I could munch away in the car while I'm outside, while waiting for another picture to shoot. But doing this really forces you to put your food down. Your hands are all messy and might not be terribly unsafe to eat while doing it, but it's unsightly, and it reinforces the idea, oh my God, I'm actually doing something that looks so unsightly, and it forces you to at least think that, oh my God, I'm eating again. Okay, so that kind of answers the question, what is food? It's medicine, right? Nobody says, for example, I take lithium orotate for anxiety. Oh my God, I'm so bored, I'm gonna down the entire bottle of lithium, right? Can you imagine anybody doing that? Oh my God, I'm so bored. You know, even though I know 5 ounces of fish is good for me, I'm gonna down 50 ounces instead, right? And those two statements that I just said are not that dissimilar to one another, by the way. Okay, so find an activity that does not revolve around food. Now, the second question I want to answer is, what is hunger? Well, hunger is just like any other feeling. Let me give you an analogy. If you've ever been on a theme park ride, right? So I love Silverwood theme park. Unfortunately, it's quite a drive away from here. I especially love the Drop Tower ride. Now, I love that ride. But imagine I'm sitting in my office and all of a sudden the entire office feels like that ride. Well, I think anybody with half a brain cell would realize it's time to evacuate, right? Something dramatic has happened, an earthquake, a 9/11 kind of event, right? So nobody wants to feel that in the office. But if you're at the theme park and you feel well, you enjoy the ride, right? Nobody wants to feel hungry when they've just eaten. But if you're feeling hungry because you're doing intermittent fasting, you're doing something you know is good for yourself, enjoy the ride, right? All right. The other thing I would point out is that watch out for changes in lifestyle while you're into intermittent fasting. It's very easy to get your intermittent fasting to beat at your current lifestyle, and then something changes. Moving, a new job, a relationship status change, seasonal changes. All of those can have their little kinks in them that can throw things a little bit. So watch out for that. Finally, I would say that, now, people say that, but food is fun to eat, it's social, and you'll die if you stop eating. I gotta point out something. There are plenty of things you'll die if you stop doing. You'll die if you stop pooping. You'll die if you stop breathing. And yet, we don't find that we need to center our social lives around those things, right? When was the last time you went to a poop orgy party with 20 of your friends, right? Now, if your friends aren't going to respect you just because you say no to food on a certain occasion at a certain time, treat it like your friends. Imagine your friend was so all-controlling that not only were they addicted to something, heroin or gambling, or even their cell phones, and they refuse to be your friends because you won't keep your cell phone on you 24/7, right? Just treat it like that the next time your friends disrespect you over your eating or fasting choices. This is the Peter Dislike Show! Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.